Everybody, we have something incredibly exciting. I don't know if you know, there was something against America here in Florida going on, a new law that was passed directly targeting roofing salespeople as if we were the enemy. And I'm here with the owners of Lifetime Quality. They're good friends of mine, Alex and Zach, a fast growing company out of Ohio, but they have a sister company, Gale Force Roofing, out of Tampa. And these guys were the ones responsible for saving the Florida roofing industry, man. I want to say thank y'all. Not only are you good friends, good business owners, you've been bringing integrity to roofing in your market for a long time. The first time I heard about it was the time and attention you took to wind damage and how other companies really abuse this whole wind damage and marginal wind damage process, and you do it differently. So tell us a little bit about your background. As people start to build up, guys, we're going to be going over the new law, and basically the law said that we couldn't say the word insurance claim. There was sections of the law that were directly written off of my advertising campaigns. They said, you cannot use a $500 gift card to reward or incentivize someone to file a claim. It went on so far as to say that if we are incentivizing filing a claim, if we're talking about filing a claim, that there could be $10,000 fines per every occurrence, whether it was a door knock, a door hanger, even a magnet on a car that said insurance claim specialist would then become a liability that the state of Florida then could shut down my license. They control everything here in Florida because the license allows you to cover the permit. They could fine me $10,000, all based off of something that was completely true. And I thought to myself, what bullshit. I knew that these rules weren't going to stick, but some friends of mine were doing something about it. So as everybody builds up, guys, tell us a little bit about your background before we get into this new law and how and a little bit about Lifetime Quality.
Sure. So I'm Alex Gerhardt. This is my co-owner here, Zach Willard. We're the owners and founders of Lifetime Quality Roofing in Columbus, Ohio. We also own Lifetime Quality Roofing Pittsburgh and Gale Force Roofing and Restoration out of Tampa, Florida. So when we started into the industry about 5-6 years ago, I had actually hired Zach on. I was a sales manager at another company. We worked for about 6 months for that company, and we started seeing things that we didn't agree with. Just a poor way to run a business and a poor way to treat your customers, and money was always first. And what we knew was, when we started our business, we kind of just knew if we did everything the opposite of what we had seen, then we'd be okay. We'd have a great company. So from day one, we've been a very customer-centric business. Customer above all else. Our first core value at the company is personal happiness, and the second one is the customer. You have to have happy employees and a great culture to have a great company, and we learned and understood that through the years. So we went through some growth phases that were followed by some operational phases. So our first year, we did only about 1.8 million, and that was in 2016. The following year, we did about 3.2 million. The following year, we did 4.3, and then we just had a massive year and did 13 million. Last year, we actually did over 30 million between all companies, and our growth has been exponential. We're expanding in several different markets. We have big expansion plans for that, but we really focused on the customer and the quality of the product we were providing the customer. Because at the end of the day, we're homeowners as well, and I have a roof. If I had another roofing contractor come out and do my roof, which I would never do because I just do my own roof, but if I did have somebody come out, I would want them to treat me the same way that we treat our customers. So we always say, welcome to the Lifetime Quality family when we're dealing with a new customer, because we truly feel that way. We want them to feel like we took care of them as if their brother came out and did their roof. That's kind of who we are.
Guys, we're going to go into this behind the scenes courtroom breakdown. These guys decided to sue the state, to name the people inside of the Department of Public, whatever the fuck they are, DPPR out of Florida. They personally sued the secretary, and they went right after our First Amendment rights, the right to free speech. And there's a few things that the law there's some precedent set when it comes to rules that don't allow people to say things like insurance claim. First and foremost, is it true? And, I don't know if they can comment on this, but I read the actual debriefing from, and absolutely, if there's storm damage on the roof, it's absolutely true. And so for there to be a law that states that you can't say the truth, to me, that seems like cancel culture. That seems like whoever has the biggest pockets gets to rewrite history. I see a lot of this going on inside of America, and frankly, it sucks. It stinks. And if you're sick and tired of this nonsense, guys, give me some hearts. I feel like American Dream's under attack. They tried to go out there against the whole roofing industry that's trying to educate people about hidden damage. Help old people. Guys, share the message out here, because these guys, they took on the cost of holding and the risk. I'll be honest. Guys, I was scared because I'm publicly enemy number one. I have a lot of people out door knocking. My whole business is in Florida, 8 locations, and I knew that they were looking at me anyways. And so, guys, I didn't want to go up to Tallahassee and make a big stink because I knew they were going to attack me. As a matter of fact, we've already had, before this injunction, there's been all different inquiries from the DPPR inside of our labor and sales, because they're out there trying to stop people that are making a difference in the community. And so, I was scared. Now, one of the things that you had to risk is them potentially attacking you. Now, when you were deciding to sue the government, to go after the state of Florida, what made you think that this risk was worth taking for your business? Just tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll take that one, Lee. We have a saying here in our company. It's get comfortable being uncomfortable. And, I felt like we were taking on an insurmountable task almost, and we were uncomfortable at first with doing this, but we knew it needed to be done. We knew we needed to stand up for what we believe in and stand up to do the right thing. And not only for, us, but for our employees, for homeowners, for contractors, for everybody, we needed to stand up for our First Amendment, freedom of speech. And that law specifically, Section 2, prohibited communication for contractors in relation to insurance claims. And that stopped us from being able to acknowledge and give homeowners truthful information about alternative funding options for getting their storm damaged property replaced. And that is a big no-no for us, because the neighbor next door could come over and tell a homeowner, hey, you have storm damage on your roof, you should call your insurance claim. But because I hold a business license, I'm not allowed to do that. And that's a violation of the Constitution and our First Amendment.
Amen, guys. Give me some hearts if you believe that that's a violation to the Constitution, and share this stream if you're a roofing contractor, because this law was going to set a precedent that was going to spread throughout the United States. You may think, I'm not in Florida, this doesn't apply to me. But guess what, guys? The insurance company, they tried to go out and change the rules to prevent people from going door to door, to change the rules from getting information. And so the biggest problem that I see in the marketplace right now is maybe, you think that we're all fighting each other. The truth is that Zach and Alex are a part of our Sky Diamonds Elite Brotherhood. We're about collaborate to dominate. And give me some hearts if you think that fighting the state of Florida, setting a precedent that this was an unconstitutional law, was better for the roofing industry, and that these guys are actually not competitors, but they're actually guys that are helping raising the whole industry up. And so, what I'm sitting here thinking is, what other things? There was a second part of that. Here in the state of Florida, the government is a part of funding property insurance. They're saying that property insurance is losing. And yet, what the state was trying to make their case on was that, this is costing unnecessary money and making it to where people couldn't get insurance. And so they were trying to make it seem like that it was the roofers out here causing the problem. And so what did that play out in the courtroom like?
Yeah, so essentially in the courtroom, what they were trying to say was there's over $40 billion of insurance fraud every year in the state of Florida. And 10% of those claims are insurance fraud related, or 10% of all claims are insurance fraud related. And that by limiting the communication from contractors to homeowners, that they would be essentially bringing insurance fraud to its knees. And that's not the case, because they're singling out one industry, the roofing industry, and that figure incorporates all insurance opportunities like healthcare, auto, you name it, it's all of it.
It's kind of like burning down the forest in order to try to kill the squirrels, Lee. That's
a really good analogy. And I'm just a story here is I had a Jamaican sales rep. I wanted to take him into his neighborhood. It's always great to take your new sales guy. The reason why I do this isn't just to fix roofs. It's because I like the people that I bring into my business and give a new life to, the confidence, the freedom that comes with an income and fixing big problems for big paychecks. So we went into the hood. And yeah, the first 3 people, they told me no. We're knocking. We're offering the insurance claim process. The 4th person I talked to is this old Jamaican guy that was really unsure about how the process works because he wasn't from the United States. He was a homeowner. He'd been here for 20 years. He had a roof with 30, 40, 50 missing shingles, an automatic buyer. He'd never filed a claim, and it was only because when he picked up the phone, he got misinformation from the secretary at the insurance agent. And so you find all the time that the insurance companies are constantly playing by their own set of rules. And whenever they make their own rules, like in this, there was a section of this law that said that 70%, that roofs over 10 years old would be depreciated 70% if the insurance company decided to send a letter out to everybody. But then there was changes. Now, can we discuss what the insurance companies was trying to do and really,
For sure.
what this means for our industry?
Absolutely. So forms of this bill have been introduced into legislation down in Florida for 10 years. And, keep in mind that from 2005 to, I believe, 2016, or maybe it was 2006 to 2015, there was almost a decade where a major hurricane did not hit Florida. So those insurance companies made profits for years and years and years. And they introduced this bill after one of the worst storm seasons in history. We had 31 storms. And this is when they introduced this bill. And originally they were trying to make, so they were setting limits on doing roof schedules, basically turning all roofs over 10 years old into ACV roofs. Well, what does that do? For the average homeowner that has an 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old roof, but their roof's supposed to last 50 years, it means they're not getting any depreciation. And I know for all the non-insurance roofers, that might not mean anything to you, but they're getting paid half or less than half of the cost for their entire roof. The average homeowner only has, 98% of people have less than $10,000 in their bank account, and a roof costs more than $10,000. So if there's not somebody there to educate them, with truthful options on how they can get these roofs replaced, ones that they pay for every single year as part of their homeowner's insurance, then who's going to do it? They did something very similar back in 0203 with workers' comp. They limited attorneys' fees on workman's comp claims. And if the attorneys then weren't making enough money on the workers' comp claims, so now attorneys wouldn't take them. Well, that just led to injured workers not being able to file lawsuits, rightful lawsuits, because they couldn't get any representation. With this law in place, they would have driven roofers out of Florida, blue-collar, hardworking Americans out of Florida. And then when the next hurricane comes through, who the hell's going to put the roof on? Who's going to help them rebuild their house?
Look,
I
I
want to
was
say one thing
prepared.
too.
I was prepared. I'm gonna tell y'all guys, I was prepared if they were gonna find me, if they were gonna attack me. I was gonna wait until that happened, but you took preemptive action. You went and sued them as soon as the ink dried on the bill. I was thinking that Governor DeSantis, somebody who wants to run as the potential president of the United States, what do you think it would be on his record, a bill that put contractors out of business only for the sake of white-collar, basically criminals? I'll tell you, I have a claim from Hurricane Sally. I posted on my YouTube an argument about that claim. It's a roof that was blown off. Now, it's a $5 million plus loss. And the insurance company has given absolutely no written coverage 11 months down the road. The roof's blown off. They say there's a wind-driven rain exclusion. We're determining how much is damaged that's covered. The truth is we have an attorney. We've submitted everything on time. We've restored that property the right way. We've done every single thing we could to ethically fix that property. And yet, when it's the largest amount of money, $5 million, they are the most criminal. And if you want to see evidence of the insurance company's true sense of how they really react under pressure, go watch Roofer versus Insurance Adjuster on my YouTube. And, you'll see that these insurance companies are not like a good neighbor. They use your premiums to pay for politicians to make bills that allow them to, avoid paying out claims. And so, one thing I think that it's great that Alex and Zach were the ones who did this was they told me before all this that they hate roofers that cause damage or that are a part of fraudulent claims. They have such an in-depth training process at their company. When you go to inspect wind damage, you have to apply the right amount of pressure. You can't create creases to the shingles or do any damage to the roof while checking for wind. And there's a lot of roofers out there that are borderline unethical or fraudsters, and they put us all in a bad light. And, one thing I know about Zach and Alex is that's not how they operate. Now, these guys, they started off in a gym, fitness entrepreneurs. You were selling at a gym. You get into the roofing business. How do you tell us a little bit about your story and coming from a gym and being a personal trainer, and tell us about how your ethics actually, what that really means. Do you lose business because you're not telling everybody that there's wind damage on every roof?
Yeah, so one thing I definitely want to say is, the lifetime company of Umbrella with includes Gale Force is firmly against any manipulation of the insurance market whatsoever at all. We want to make that clear. We don't partake in any insurance fraud or anything like that. We have full systems within our company to make sure that things like that do not happen. So this bill was extremely important to us because we felt like it was attacking contractors doing things the right way. And I want to go back to something we talked about just previously. You mentioned the ACV 10-year portion of the bill. They actually removed that portion of the bill and slid in the solicitation and advertisement portion for contractors one day before it went to legislature, to the Senate and the House. So they kind of did the old bait and switch there. And that was I think that's pretty big information. And we're not sure, what Governor DeSantis knew about the bill or if he knew anything about it. I would assume he wouldn't sign something that would be blatantly unconstitutional. And we can't really speak to that, but
it's actually even a little more extreme than that. They changed that bill the day before the last day of the legislative session, which means that 45 minutes, they had 45 minutes to pass that bill to get it signed off on, assigned to the governor, or else that bill would have been dead and they would have had to try to restart again the next legislative year, which would have been the following year. So something happened the day before. We're not going to get into the nitty gritty of what we think happened, but something happened, and maybe behind closed doors, that they said, okay, well, we're going to take the ACV out, but we're going to add in these stipulations where contractors can't file insurance claims or can't speak to homeowners about filing insurance claims and, give them truthful information. So they were trying to prohibit our speech as contractors just because of our profession.
But to talk about, coming from the gym industry, that was a huge backing for us. We still recruit guys from the gym industry. We work for LA Fitness, and I think LA Fitness has a pretty sales-oriented background. So that was a good eye-opening experience for us because we were very good there. We were very good at POS sales and sitting down with customers and being able to, in a short period of time, allow them to see the value of what we were able to sell. And we brought that into our business and utilized, portions of that. We're not high pressure, but we definitely provide the information that needs to be said. And, when it comes to insurance fraud and that topic, I think that's kind of a taboo topic nobody likes to talk about in the industry. But, we're huge advocates to making sure that our guys know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, that we trust the guys that we have, that we don't freely hire. We don't really hire too many people from the industry, to be honest. Just because people have bad habits and it's hard to curb bad habits, and we care about the reputation of the company and the relationships we do have with insurance companies, which is really good.
Yeah, and not that we won't hire people from the industry. We absolutely will. We just have a vetting process for doing that. We absolutely like to contact people they've worked with in the past, even insurance adjusters, and just see who they are as people. And part of the hearing that took place is, so there was an OIR report, and that's the Office of Insurance Regulation. That's where this $40 billion number came from. And what the judge asked was, well, what portion of this $40 billion relates directly to roofers? And the opposition's attorneys, the counsel, couldn't answer because none of that information was in the report. They just got this huge number and they were handing it out to all these senators and House representatives saying, here it is. Here's the proof right here of why we need to pass SB 76 and stop the insurance crisis in Florida. If they said, if you stop the issue that, and all of these claims brought on by attorneys, because they're saying that attorneys cost 3 times as much to the insurance companies. Well, the attorneys only cost 3 times as much to the insurance companies because somebody's not doing the right thing. There's nothing in the report said anything about contractor solicitation or advertising. And there's no evidence that the law or the insurance crisis is going to change by limiting our right to free speech.
And I tell you what, Lee, you said something earlier already about contractors banding together. That was one of the most appalling things at this is there was really no structure between restoration contractors across the United States or in Florida in general. And it was really scary to see. And we were the ones that stood up for what we believed in, and we felt did the right thing. And we think that contractors need to unite. This bill should have never gotten this far. We should have stopped this well before it ever got into the Senate and the House and to DeSantis. I mean, this should have been something that they just shot down immediately. And we're huge advocates for, contractors uniting and banding together to make sure this doesn't happen in the future. And the biggest thing about this, the biggest win, is we know Florida's a trendsetter state, and we're located in other states. So it was terrifying for us for this to go into place in Florida and then all these other states to be able to adopt this. And we wanted to make sure that didn't happen.
And look, let me tell you exactly what this means. There was an injunction placed on the DBPR. That injunction states that the portion of the law cannot be enforced. So within 2-3 weeks of this law being placed, it's hung like a black cloud over my office, and I would go and say that some salespeople have lost hope in the business opportunity, that some people may have not came to the Florida market. I think that maybe some people may have decided that, maybe they would go into the solar business instead where there wasn't so much regulation. And, we burned all our marketing material in 8 offices and changed our marketing campaigns that were making lots of money for something that was unconstitutional. I am going to expect compensation from the DBPR for these lost revenues. And I think we should, as a team here in Florida, contractors bound together, give me some hearts. If you think every single roofer in Florida should make the DBPR pay for their lost marketing material, their lost ads campaigns, lost salespeople, people in their business and lost business opportunity, and forgive me, but, the news stories of them running around with fake numbers, fake news, $40 billion. All this is the roofer's fault. And then next thing I see myself, roofers solicitation causing $40 billion in damages. These behind-the-scene back Florida deals, millions of dollars exchanges, super PACs, endorsements, things going on, changes to bills in the last hours. What is this, guys? Is it red? Is it blue? Look, in politics, here's the deal. It's really about the issues that pertain to you. And if you're a roofing contractor and you're a Republican, and I'm not going to get into the political aspect of things, but it was the Republicans that were behind this bill here in the state. And the only senator in Florida that will speak up against it is a lawyer out of Boca that's a Democrat. And so you have to look at, what this is. And for me, I'll tell you, there's a couple reasons why I didn't do a better job. They're all poor excuses. I'm part of the blame to be a problem. If I'm an influencer, then I should have done a better job speaking up. I was afraid. In my 8 offices, I've been fined by this. I've been under the radar from this people before, and I know what it's like to get hits to your license. And I was afraid. Okay, so that's why I didn't do it. That's number one. Number two, the person that is actually in charge of the department is a client of mine, and on a large commercial roof. And I can't go into the details of the job, but I was afraid to sue my own client. And he'll probably never watch this YouTube, but I can tell you one thing. I'll say it right to his face that basically we told him about the storm damage. His insurance company denied the claim. It was a job, a flat roof that didn't have, the insurance adjuster doing a proper investigation. We stopped by as commercial roofers, offer an inspection, document the damage, and we actually recommend him to our attorney. He's got an attorney, and he has to hold the insurance companies accountable. These same insurance companies that support his campaigns won't personally pay out for his commercial losses. And so it's one of these deals where, politics makes strange bedfellows. That's what I have to say. And I will say, go ahead.
I think, Lee, what you just said there, that should provide some value in what we do. You were able to help that guy have an avenue to get his project replace that he may not have known about otherwise. Like we said, providing truthful information to customers about alternative options for getting their storm damaged property replaced. And I want to tell a story real fast about something that we saw. And if they would have been able to limit the communication from contractors, that would have left homeowners out on their own. And when we first went down a few years ago to work a hurricane in the area and started gale force roofing, we were meeting with homeowners on a regular basis that were not being properly taken care of by their insurance company. Just one story, for instance, we got on a roof that had, probably 20 tarps on it, and there was a hole on the ridge, and there was a plastic bag in that hole. And we asked the homeowner, hey, what's going on with this ridge up here? And he said, well, the insurance adjuster asked me to put that bag in the ridge to stop the leaking from getting in. And that's just something that we couldn't believe, and we'll never stand for not being able to properly communicate avenues to customers about what they can do with their insurance.
Yeah, the Florida market is definitely different. Compared to the other places we're in, we feel like it's the wild, wild west down there. It's always changing. Things are a lot different, and people aren't always doing what they're supposed to do. We've never filed a lawsuit against an insurance company in Ohio. We've never needed to. We're able to work with them hand in hand to take care of the customers and truly care. And we run into really different things down in Florida. And that experience was, I was on that roof, and that was one of the most eye-opening things that I had ever seen. It was the very first roof I was ever on down in Florida. And I want to take a quick second and just do a quick shout out to our legal team, Jeremy Bailey, Weber, Crab, and Ween. They went above and beyond to push this thing through and fight for contractors and our employees and their families and homeowners' rights in Florida and across the country, really. If you think that this was stopping in Florida, you're wrong. We've already found legislation, and I'll tell you a quick story. So Owens Corning, we reached out to them. We're an Owens Corning Platinum contractor, great products. So we reached out to them and said, hey, do you know anything about this bill? We heard that they're trying to limit the ability of contractors to speak to insurance companies in the state of Ohio. And they said, went to their legal counsel or whatever, and they said, well, no. As far as we've been told, that bill is about licensing contractors for the state of Ohio. Well, it is, but there's a couple of paragraphs in there that literally says if you're a roofer and you talk to an insurance company, you can have your license pulled and not be able to work in the state. And I don't think a lot of people were aware of that, but that's the same kind of prohibitive language and the violation of our First Amendment rights that we're talking about. That's in Ohio, and they were trying to slip it in on page 6 of a bill. And if you don't think they're trying to introduce that kind of legislation in every state in the United States, you're wrong.
It's a huge win for us, a huge win for the industry. It really is. I mean, I can't say that enough. And, we're not trying to get recognition personally out of this. We're trying to shed light on what's going on, across the board with these bills popping up.
You deserve recognition, boy. Give a round of applause for the lifetime quality, guys. Those guys are one of the fastest growing companies in the country. They've came into our program. Look, let me tell you about these guys. They're very, very coachable, open-minded. These guys, they started doing more digital marketing. They came to me with this idea. They're like, Lee, I got this big idea. You're into events. We got this idea. We hired a celebrity, Ryan Serhant. We're going to get real estate agents. You're going to get a bunch of people in a room. We're going to get a bunch of referral partners. And this is what it takes to turn attention into profit, to be a better showman, to stand out in the marketplace. And one of the things that I love about what you're doing is you're getting the message out about your company while helping the whole industry, and you did it all on your dime, and all for the opportunity to get more people in front of the lifetime quality story. These guys have multi-million-dollar salespeople. Some of these guys I've been paying on Instagram getting $60,000, $70,000 checks. They work Columbus, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Tampa, but they're expanding everywhere. You can find Alex Gerhardt on Facebook, Zach Willard on Facebook, or on Instagram. But these guys, they're looking for top performers from the market that want to be a part of something big. And so if you want to be a part of leaders in the industry that are some of the fastest growing, that are maintaining integrity, look, I just want you to be with the right people, especially if you're in Ohio. Potentially you're with a guy that doesn't have integrity or excellence like these guys. And maybe you're in Ohio and you want a place to work in Florida. Boom. Then these guys are your guys. So one thing I want to say is thank you. You single-handedly probably, for my business, I don't know how much you mattered, but more importantly, I said there's a lot of ads. The American dream is under attack. And whenever you start seeing laws put in place from people that are supposed to be like a good neighbor. They're supposed to be in good hands. And you get a lifelong history of working with insurance companies. Like you said, these Florida insurance companies are really, really, they're a different breed. They're deniers. They delay. They're based off of one thing, profit, and they don't act in good faith. And so, one thing I can say is that every roof here pretty much over, 13 years old has been through some form of wind damage, and they know it. They know all the roofs are really damaged. And guess what? If there's an opportunity, the one opportunity is this. There's so many roofs down here in Florida that it's literally like, I don't know what your Tampa. Tell me a little bit about your Tampa growth. I saw a picture on your Facebook. Tons of people. When I first started talking with y'all, you only had a smaller team. Talk to us about your Tampa team, how it's grown, and what you love most about being in Ohio and Tampa.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for thanking us for what we did, and like we said, we did this for contractors, we did this for our employees, and we did this for homeowners. We did it for everybody. We felt it had to be done, so we really appreciate that. We are hiring top performers in the Tampa location. Also in the Columbus location, we're expanding rapidly into other markets. We're opening a location in Dallas, Texas, at the end of this year, and Cincinnati as well as physical location will be there. We're looking to expand into Denver and some of the large markets. And contractors, don't get butthurt that we're coming. There's enough to go around. But the Tampa market's been exploding. It's been great. We're expanding every year. We have spent the time to build the processes. We have the company backing, the support from our reputation. We have over 650 reviews in the Columbus location that are 4.9 out of 5. We care about our reputation. We care about our homeowners, and we care about the experience that we provide not only for our guys that work for us, but also for the customers that interact with us.
At the end of the day, what we try to tell customers is it's not what happens when things go well. Don't be happy with the process when things go well. Be happy with the process when things go wrong. And you see who people really are and how we react to those things. Because this is construction. Things are going to happen. You're building a roof, you're tearing off a 5,000 square apartment complex or something like that. Stray nails can bounce out in the parking lot. I mean, you name it. Things are going to happen. But it's how you react to those things that truly determines who you are as a person and a company. And I'll tell you what, the number one thing to us is not profit, it's not money. I like to be able to sleep at night. Not stressing about things, about doing people wrong, and leaving a legacy behind that's worth leaving is a big part of what we do and why we do this. We love this. I love coming to work every day, and so does Zach.
We're addicted to seeing people grow within our organization and bringing people in and changing their lives. I think that's one of the most rewarding things that you can possibly do, is to bring somebody that maybe hates their current opportunity, provide that vehicle for their success, and then see them grow over time. And that's why, our growth that we've sustained, we've only been around for 6 years, but we're on pace to do 40 million this year. And we want to be the first $1 billion roofing company. We're coming after Smart Roof. We're coming after you, Lee. We want to be the $1 billion roofing company first before anybody else. It's extremely important that we maintain that positive environment at all times.
Big shout out to Josh over at Smart Roof. That guy's doing the right thing. We like him a lot.
Yeah, guys, y'all are leaders in the Sky Diamonds Elite Brotherhood, and I'm so grateful to have you a part of it. And so many people are hesitant. They wonder what's going on inside of this. Is this a cult? What are y'all doing? And we sharpen each other. We're all in a competition to pull the best versions of ourselves out. Our best, our RCA's best is different than Lifetime Quality's best, is different than Smart Roof's best, but we're worried about being our best, every one of us. And, there's a lot of things that y'all have taught me, most about a lot of things, just about discipline, culture. And one of the biggest things you rubbed off is energy. You want what you want. If you want bigger things in the next 10 years, it's going to take probably 10x more energy. And when y'all first met me, I wasn't doing the things physically I needed to be to max out. And y'all been like max out type people, still in the gym, physically fit, mentally fit. I see Alex wakeboarding, still making time to have a lot of fun. So, over the last couple of years, I just want you to know, not only have you pushed me about getting a little bit more disciplined as a leader, but, tightening up, these details and holding people accountable. Sometimes being around people like you helps me sometimes I always want people to like me, so it's hard to have the hard conversations. It's the gift and the curse. You have the ability to influence, but then you have a hard time having the hard conversations. And so, Alex, you've served as a good example for me. Tell me a little bit from someone's watching this perspective. What were your fears about joining Sky Diamonds? What did you get out of it, and what do you think about our network and what we're doing versus others?
I'll tell you what, one of the things that you taught us, Lee, was recruiting, getting things out on social media. And it has been very, very big for our business. It really has. Now, not to toot your horn too much, we're guys that are going to adapt, and we're going to go, and we're going to grow, and we're going to glow, and we're going to do it no matter frickin' what, because that's how we live every day of our lives. We put everything into the business. I get text messages from Zach at 12:30 at night, and I'm asleep by then, but I get them and I read them in the morning. But he's focused on sales numbers and hey, how are we going to adapt the business? And I bring big ideas to the table, and he loves sitting around and round tabling those things, and we try to put them into play. And it's a great thing to be able to grow something from the ground up and see how successful it can become. But one of the reasons we look for the guys that are determined and habitual. So we used to make a joke that we were the biggest roofing company in America, not largest, but had the largest, biggest, beefiest dudes. And, we're strongest, or however you want to say it. And the reason we used to joke about that was we were recruiting every single one of our friggin' guys from ex-LA Fitness sales guys. Because or guys that we met at the gym. And the reason is because they carry the habits that you already want in people. They're habitual, they're determined, and they're addicted to working out. And if you point
They're addicted to growth.
to growing themselves personally, and once you give them the opportunity to do that in their career, they blow up, man.
I think another thing to be said about Sky Diamonds is, you were really helpful with progressive marketing. And that was something
Absolutely.
that we feel like, most contractors are stuck in the mud. They're doing things that they did 20 years ago that don't work anymore. You have to be on social media. You have to have a presence. You have to use recruiting and use all avenues at one time. We have a swarm marketing approach. We do a whole plethora of things that bring leads through the door, not just one thing. So we think it's very important that we, you were kind of able to kind of spearhead that with us. And one of those things he just mentioned was Ryan Serhant. I was watching Ryan's podcast, and he mentioned, hey, if you guys buy 5,000 books, I'll come out and speak at one of your events. And we were just kind of like, wow, what a great opportunity to, get in front of as many realtors, which is a lead source for us, as possible. So we reached out to them. They weren't doing the 5,000 books or 500 books anymore, but they were able to, come to some sort of an agreement where he came down, and we did that this past month, and it was fantastic. We had over 350 realtors there. We were able to make a connection with a local company that's on YouTube that has a big car garage. They're called the Triple F Collection. Shout out to those guys. They're awesome. If you don't know about them, check them out on YouTube. And, we went out and shot a YouTube video there. We had them drive him in a Bugatti over to our event. And then he put on a great talk, and we were able to kind of show these realtors in our area what we're all about.
Sure.
That's awesome, guys. So proud of y'all, man. Y'all are killing the game. I see all of your stud recruits and the company trips, and I just know the culture over at Lifetime is off the chain. I just want you to know, you inspire me to be the best version of myself. And one of the reasons why people say, Lee, why are you doing this? Why are you coaching? It's because, I need people to keep me on my toes. The coach needs a coach. And sometimes after 5 years, my students, clients, they're actually coaching me, guiding me along as well. So I want to say thanks for the recognition and all. You could execute many of these things and have done it with very little coaching and extra time for me. It's just a very small little suggestion. Y'all take it, and y'all take it to the moon. And so it's just awesome to have y'all be a part of this. Because we got coming up, we didn't get the opportunity this time, but I want to invite y'all to speak about this at the next Blue Collar American Dream Conference. And, it's not just about roofing. It's about roofing, solar, restoration, and investing those profits into real estate. And, one of the things that y'all have been able to do is even, make some real estate acquisitions. So talk to us about what you were able to do this year. I know you told me about some multifamily stuff and
Sure.
taking action in that department.
So currently we own 46 46 doors on some multifamily properties, and we own almost 80,000 square feet of office properties. We really saw that best investment for your money that's going to pay the most long-term dividends is real estate. It has been for a long, long time. There's a lot of preferential tax treatment that they're trying to now pull out of the tax code. But there's a lot of preferential tax treatment you can get from making those investments. But it is an investment over time. And it's a risk. There's a risk to anything you do, but that's one of the best ones. And the Fed has actually been, not to get too far into politics, and that's not where I want to take this, but they've been printing money like hotcakes. I believe it was 26% of all money printed was last year. So, they're devaluing the dollar. Real assets, don't focus on the consumer price index quite as much. Real assets, the prices keep going up because those assets hold true and their values hold true throughout the world, not just here in the United States.
Amen, guys.
One of the things we also do, Lee, is, I just wanted to kind of touch on this real fast, was we also like to provide our guys that work for us avenues or information on how they can keep more of the money that they make. So I'm not a tax accountant, and I'm not going to get too far into this, but there are tons, like Alex said, preferential tax treatments that you can do through real estate, cost segregation. If you don't know about it, Google it. If you can't find it on Google, ask your attorney or your tax
CPA,
guy about it,
sure.
your CPA about it. It's a big deal, and the tax laws that were passed a few years ago allowed you to be able to take accelerated depreciation on properties that you buy, and that can go against your income that you make for the year. And we're team legal no tax. We don't want to pay tax if not possible, but we'll do everything we can to get that down, and we want to make sure that we're doing everything the right way, and we encourage everybody to reach out to a CPA or to their attorney before they, try to do
And
something.
not all CPAs are built the same.
No. Let me tell y'all. I want to recommend a book. Ed Milet's right-hand guy recommended to me. It's called The Power of Zero. And, I believe exactly what you believe, that it's not just about me educating people on how to sell and make more than a doctor or lawyer. It's how that they can hold on to it, make it multiply. I myself have done multifamily investments 2 different times. One, it's got 100 doors. Another one we bought and sold. It only had 9 doors. But, where I'm at right now is, a lot of roofers out there, there's a lot of different financial services out there available that are tax shelters. Now, I didn't have that CPA that you talk about, that aggressive CPA, till I got with Ed Milet's guy. And then, you talk to a guy that comes from getting mentorship and helping and servicing somebody worth $600 million, and you find all different ways. And that's sometimes your network is your net worth. Anyways, I partnered up with him on helping all my people access basically an investment that grows over time with the S&P 500. That's pretty much a tax shelter, and also provides benefits that all roofers needs to protect themselves if something really bad happens. Because I know a lot of roofers out there, a lot of people say there's so many people out there that without the right insurance, whether it's workman's comp, life insurance, liability, and that's really risky in a business like ours. And I've been that guy that was underinsured, that didn't have the right coverage, and it's not right. So financial education isn't just about real estate, but it's also about protecting those assets, having the right coverage, so sleep good at night. And that's what the blue collar American dream is about. And so I have this big idea, the Blue Collar American Dream Tour. Just like you filled up the room with 350 realtors, I'm going to Columbus. I'm going to Cincinnati. I'm coming to see you. And we're going to put together a group of, just regular people who are interested in earning more than a doctor or lawyer. We're going to teach them roofing, solar, real estate, but we're going to show them that it just takes hard work and the willingness to buy into our system. And when I can get 10,000 people certified this year through an online university and through my tour, and then share them with the people in my network like you, then I can solve our biggest problem, which is high quality people to multiply the best and most wonderful offer that we can fix storm damage that's paid for by the insurance. It was such a good offer. The insurance companies tried to make it illegal, but our First Amendment rights came through when my man Alex and Zach said, you know what, fuck these people. We're going to sue the state of Florida. We're going to stand up to the 800-pound gorilla. They slapped them around like some big bodybuilding, no shit taking Ohio boys that love Ohio State, got them some Buckeyes on the back of their helmet, and knocked their ass on the ground. So for all the roofing industry, I want to say, thank you. I'm incredibly grateful that y'all came on to my show to talk about this.
For sure.
And how can these guys get in touch with you?
Yeah, I got one other thing I want to say. So,
Okay.
so during that trial, so they flew in some heavy hitters to represent the state, a whole panel of DC lawyers. And at one point, the judge wasn't listening to some things they were saying, or he wasn't necessarily argumentative. He was just saying, "Hey, can you show me in this $40 billion where the roofing contractors, by limiting their speech, where that's going to change all this?" And one of the lawyers in the opposition literally said, he basically stated, "The pillars of the republic will not fall because of this law." And that judge looked at them and said, "No matter what kind of speech in my courtroom, we will respect the First Amendment." And some jaws dropped, my man. Some jaws dropped. And I don't know if you know this, but there have been 3 laws that were passed in that legislative session, and all 3 of them, to my knowledge, have been struck down for First Amendment right, unconstitutional violations.
That's awesome. That's so powerful. And I think, we just want to clarify for everybody that's watching, and we've got a lot of questions so far, and Lee, you kind of touched on this briefly, but the preliminary injunction prevents the Secretary of Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, or the DBPR, from enforcing Section 489.147 of the Florida statutes, which is Section 2, 3, and 4, which essentially cover the prohibiting advertisement and solicitation, providing disciplinary proceedings for violations of the section, and who violates and how. So we're not lawyers. Obviously, if you're going to do anything with your business, we encourage you to consult a lawyer that can interpret that law specifically for your business. But we just want to say this was a huge win for the industry, and we couldn't be more excited about it.
Anybody who wants to get a hold of us, please go onto our Facebook, Gale Force Roofing and Restoration. Call the Tampa office. You can message me. I'm under Alex Charles on Facebook. He's under Zach Willard. Lifetime Quality Roofing Pittsburgh. We're going to be expanding. If you don't know our name, you will soon. So, please reach out. We're hiring, we're adapting, and we're growing every day. So, we're looking for high class guys and that want to surround themselves with great people, because you are going to be who you surround yourself with in 5 years. We also offer opportunities to our sales guys to expand into branch leader positions, so that they can go run their own branch of Lifetime and receive very high compensation for it. We also bring in CPAs, tax professionals, health insurance professionals. I mean, you name it, to help guide these guys in the right direction on what to do with their money, how to do it safely, how to pay taxes correctly. A lot of people don't believe this, and they want to complain about people paying low tax and everything else. And I'll tell you what, the tax code, there's a very small part that tells you, hey, you're going to pay this percentage of your money each year in tax. And then there's thousands of pages that tell you how to reduce that tax. So the lower tax you pay, the more American it is, because all you're doing is you're doing what the United States government wants you to do. If they want you to build low cost housing, you build it, and they're going to give you preferential tax treatment for doing that because the government sees a need for that thing. So,
Listen, guys, these guys are living the American dream. They were just regular guys selling gym memberships at LA Fitness. Now they got multifamily apartments, $40 million roofing business. They're setting standards in the roofing industry, hundreds of people that they've changed their lives. And it's not about the money. It's not the fact that Zach drives a Lambo and there's big, nice, fast trucks. Everybody at their company's got, what are those trucks y'all got over there?
Raptors. A lot of the top salesmen all drive Raptors.
Everybody's got Raptors. That's fun and all, Or maybe it's about those boat days where, you're sitting out there and these guys are so serious about going on a boat. It's freaking March in Ohio and they're out there wakeboarding in cold water.
That's
doing
true. We follow the 110 degree rule. So as long as the water temperature and air temperature equal 110 degrees, we're going to be out on the water. When you add them together, I mean.
Well, me and Alex got a YouTube video to make. I told him if we did this interview, a friend of ours, a guy that works with our company, is one of the top pro wakeboarders. We're going to go in Orlando and do a little versus video. Alex, a badass on a wakeboard. And I can ride a wakeboard too, but we're gonna do a little versus video. We're gonna put a little wager on it, and we're gonna have fun, make some content.
Sure.
But guys,
Sure. Love it.
if these guys can benefit from the Sky Diamonds program and grow in our program and do massive things to change the industry and change their business, you can too. There's other case studies just like these at tothemooncontractor.com. Check out the case studies, schedule a call, get on the phone with me. We'll help be the guide to help you hit your American dream. Look, it's not all about the money. It's about actually the time. And that's what I love most about what y'all are doing. You know, now I don't have to be sweating so much about government officials coming at me over unconstitutional laws. I'm going to have more time to enjoy my day. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I have one last thing, Lee, I wanted to say, and this is one of the reasons why we wanted to do this is, contractors, stand up for what you believe in. You can make a difference. You really can. And we have a quote that we'd like to kind of talk about. It's challenge what makes life interesting. Overcoming those challenges what makes life meaningful. So, I leave that with you guys, and whatever that means to you, interpret the way you like, but you can make a difference.
Amen, guys. Well, till next time, man. Lifetime Quality made some big things happen. Gale Force Roofing. I want to say thank y'all again and appreciate you. We'll catch you up next time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lee.
Thanks, Lee. Take care.
Thanks a lot.